Let me tell you something about men that many people do not fully understand. When a man disappears for months and then suddenly comes back into your life, it is rarely random. Men are very intentional creatures, even when they try to pretend they are confused. If he stayed away for a long time and then returned, there's always a reason behind it. The silence, the distance, the time apart. All of that usually teaches him something he did not understand before. When a man spends months without contact, something powerful often begins to happen inside his mind. At first, the silence might feel easy for him. He may distract himself with work friends or new experiences. In the beginning, he might even believe that walking away was the right decision. Many men convince themselves that distance will make things simpler, that moving on will be effortless. But time has a way of revealing truths that people try to ignore. As the days turn into weeks and the weeks turn into months, the absence of someone who truly cared begins to feel different. When you were part of his everyday life, many of the things you did may have seemed normal to him. Your messages asking how his day was going, your encouragement when he was struggling, your loyalty during difficult moments, these were things he might have accepted without deeply thinking about their value. Familiarity can sometimes make people overlook what is right in front of them. He may not have realized how much emotional support you provided because it was always there, steady and reliable. But when that presence disappears, the silence starts speaking in a way that words never could. The phone no longer lights up with your messages. The small moments of comfort you once gave are suddenly gone. When he faces a hard day, there is no one checking on him in the same sincere way you once did. Over time, he begins to notice that the emotional safety he once had is missing. It becomes clear that not everyone offers patience, understanding, and loyalty the way you did. Life also has a way of placing people in situations that force them to compare experiences. As he interacts with new people, he may begin to see that genuine care is rare. Conversations may feel shallow, connections may feel temporary, and support may come with conditions. In those moments, memories of the way you treated him begin to stand out more clearly. He starts remembering the kindness you showed during times when he was not at his best. He remembers the way you believed in him when he doubted himself. So, slowly, the realization grows that what he once considered ordinary was actually something valuable. Your patience, your loyalty, and your emotional presence were not things that could easily be replaced. Sometimes it takes losing something meaningful for a person to understand its true worth. The distance gives him space to reflect on moments he may have overlooked before. Conversations, laughter, and the feeling of being genuinely understood begin to replay in his mind. This realization does not always come quickly. Pride, ego, and stubbornness can delay it for a long time. But eventually, when the distractions fade and reality settles in, many men begin to see the truth. They recognize that the person who stood beside them with sincerity and consistency was not just another part of their life. That person was someone who offered something real in a world where genuine connection is not always easy to find. In that moment of clarity, he understands that your value was never defined by how easily he walked away. Your value becomes clear through your absence, and sometimes it is that realization, the understanding of what he truly lost, that makes him consider coming back and trying to reconnect with the person he once took for granted. Sometimes a man walks away because he believes there is something better waiting for him somewhere else. In his mind, the world seems full of possibilities. He may convince himself that the relationship he left behind was holding him back, or that he deserves something more exciting, more perfect, or easier to manage. In those moments, his decisions are often influenced by pride, curiosity, or the illusion that love can always be replaced. What he does not always understand is that genuine connections are not as common as they appear. Real love, loyalty, and emotional support are rare qualities, and many people only realize their value after they lose them. At first, everything may seem fine to him. The freedom feels new and refreshing. He might meet new people, experience different situations, and enjoy the feeling of having no responsibilities tied to a relationship. During this stage, he may feel confident that he made the right choice, The excitement of something new can temporarily distract him from the depth of what he left behind. But life has a way of slowly revealing the truth, and over time, the excitement begins to fade. As the weeks and months pass, he starts to see people more clearly. The connections he forms may not have the same depth or sincerity. Conversations may feel shallow, and the emotional support he once had might be missing. When difficult moments arrive, and they always do, he may realize that not everyone is willing to stand beside him with patience and understanding. The people he meets might not show the same loyalty or care that he once received. Slowly, he begins to recognize the difference between temporary attention and genuine love. Real-life experiences also teach him that relationships require effort, honesty, and emotional maturity. Sometimes he believed that the problems in the previous relationship were entirely the other person's fault. But as he navigates new connections, he may start noticing similar challenges appearing again. These moments can force him to reflect on his own actions and decisions. Life becomes a mirror that shows him lessons he may have ignored before. During quiet moments, memories from the past often return. He might start remembering how someone once supported him during difficult times, or how someone showed patience when he made mistakes. Those memories begin to carry more meaning than they did before. What once seemed ordinary now appears rare. The kindness, loyalty, and emotional presence he once had become qualities he struggles to find elsewhere. This is where life teaches its hardest lesson. Sometimes a person must lose something valuable before truly understanding its importance. Experience becomes the teacher that pride once ignored. Through disappointment, comparison, and reflection, he slowly realizes that what he walked away from was not easily replaceable. That realization can be humbling. It forces him to admit that the connection he once had was real and meaningful. What he thought was just another relationship may have actually been something rare, someone who cared deeply, supported him sincerely, and loved him genuinely. Time apart can become one of the most powerful teachers in a person's life. When a man steps away from a relationship and months pass without contact, the silence often creates space for reflection that did not exist before. During the relationship, emotions, arguments, routines, and everyday distractions can make it difficult for someone to clearly see their own behavior. Many people move through relationships reacting to situations rather than truly thinking about their actions. But when the connection ends and the noise fades, a man may finally have the time and distance needed to look back honestly at what happened. In the beginning, he might still hold on to his pride. It is common for someone to believe they were right or that the relationship simply did not work because of the other person. Pride can protect the ego from facing uncomfortable truths. However, as time continues to pass, moments of quiet reflection often begin to break down that defensive mindset. Without the daily presence of the person he once shared his life with, memories start to replay in his mind. He may think about conversations, disagreements, and moments where he could have handled things differently. These reflections can slowly open the door to emotional growth. A man may begin to recognize patterns in his own behavior that he never noticed before. He might realize that he did not communicate well, that he avoided difficult conversations, or that he failed to appreciate the effort someone else was making. Sometimes it takes the absence of a relationship to clearly see the mistakes that were once hidden by routine and familiarity. Life experiences during the time apart can also contribute to this growth. Challenges at work, personal struggles, or new relationships may show him that emotional maturity is essential for building something meaningful with another person. He may encounter situations where he wishes he had handled things with more patience, honesty, or understanding in the past. These moments can create a deeper awareness of how important emotional responsibility really is. As this awareness develops, his perspective on relationships can begin to change. Instead of focusing only on what he wants or expects from someone else, he may start understanding the value of mutual effort, respect, and support. He may come to see that meaningful connections require vulnerability and commitment. Real love is not just about excitement or attraction. It is also about understanding, compromise, and the willingness to grow together. During this process, the person he once shared a deep connection with may come back into his thoughts more often. He may remember the moments when that person tried to communicate honestly or showed patience during difficult times. With a more mature perspective, those memories begin to look different. What he once dismissed as ordinary may now appear as signs of genuine care and emotional investment. This kind of realization does not happen overnight. Emotional growth is often slow and sometimes uncomfortable because it requires a person to face their own imperfections. But when a man truly reflects on his past and learns from it, he begins to understand what a meaningful relationship really requires. Through time, distance, and personal reflection, he may come to see that the connection he once had was not just another chapter in his life. It may have been an opportunity to experience something real, something deeper than he originally understood. And sometimes that new level of maturity is what leads a man to reconsider the past and think about reconnecting with someone he once let go. Not every man returns after months of silence because his heart suddenly changed. Sometimes the truth is much simpler and much more human than people want to admit. Loneliness can be a powerful emotion, and it has a way of bringing old memories and familiar people back into someone's mind. When a man has been away for a long time, the excitement of independence and freedom may slowly fade, and the quiet moments of life begin to feel heavier than he expected. In the beginning, when he first walked away or allowed the connection to fade, he might have felt strong and confident about his decision. Being on his own may have seemed exciting. He could focus on his own life, spend time however he wanted, and avoid the responsibilities that come with maintaining a relationship. For a while, that freedom might feel satisfying. Distractions like work, social gatherings, and new experiences can keep his mind occupied and make it seem like everything is moving forward just fine. But life is not always filled with constant activity. Eventually, there are quiet nights, long weekends, and difficult days when distractions disappear. During those moments, the absence of someone who once cared deeply can begin to feel very real. Loneliness is not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it arrives quietly. It shows up when there is no one to share good news with, no one to listen after a stressful day, and no one who truly understands the small details of your life. When a man remembers the comfort he once had with someone who supported him emotionally, those memories can become very powerful. He might start thinking about the times when someone was there to encourage him, to calm him down during stressful moments, or simply to listen without judgment. Emotional safety is something many people do not fully appreciate until it is gone. The feeling of knowing that someone genuinely cares about your well-being can create a sense of stability that is difficult to replace. As loneliness grows, the mind often begins to look backward instead of forward. A man may start remembering the warmth of past conversations, the laughter they shared, and the feeling of being accepted for who he was. Those memories can feel comforting during moments when life feels empty or uncertain. Reaching out to someone who once provided that comfort can start to seem like an easy way to fill the emotional gap. However, it is important to understand that returning because of loneliness is not always the same as returning because of love or true personal change. Sometimes a man simply misses the feeling of being cared for. He remembers the emotional support, the attention, and the understanding that made his life easier. In those moments, he may reach out hoping to reconnect with that sense of familiarity and comfort. This does not necessarily mean his intentions are harmful, but it does mean that his return may be driven more by emotional need than genuine transformation. Loneliness can make people look for safety in places where they once felt valued and understood. It can make the past seem warmer and more inviting than the uncertain future. That is why it is important to look beyond the simple act of someone returning. The real question is not just why he came back, but whether he truly appreciates the emotional connection he once had, or whether he is only seeking relief from the loneliness he now feels. When a man returns after months of silence, it can stir up many emotions. Old memories may come rushing back, and the feelings that once existed between you may suddenly feel alive again. Hearing his voice, reading his messages, or seeing him try to reconnect can make it seem like the past is trying to restart itself. But it is important to remember something very powerful. Just because someone comes back into your life does not automatically mean they deserve another chance. A return is only the beginning of a conversation, not the proof that someone has truly changed. Many people are very good with words. Apologies, promises, and explanations can sound convincing, especially when they are wrapped in emotion and regret. A man might say he missed you, that he made mistakes, or that he now understands what he lost. In that moment, his words may feel sincere, but words alone do not build trust. Words are easy to say when someone wants to reopen a door that was once closed. What truly matters is what happens after those words are spoken. Real change is something that shows itself through consistent actions over time. If a man truly learned from the past, his behavior will begin to reflect that growth. He will not just talk about being different. He will demonstrate it through the way he treats you. Respect becomes visible in the way he communicates, the way he listens, and the way he handles challenges. Instead of repeating the same patterns that once caused pain, he will show patience, accountability, and a willingness to do better. Consistency is another important sign of genuine change. Anyone can behave well for a short period of time, especially when they are trying to win someone back. But real transformation is steady and reliable. It shows up not only in good moments, but also during stressful situations and disagreements. A man who truly values the chance to reconnect will understand that rebuilding trust takes time. He will not rush the process or expect immediate forgiveness. Instead, he will prove through his actions that he respects your boundaries and understands the importance of earning back your trust. It is also important for you to remember your own worth during this process. When someone returns, it can be tempting to focus entirely on their feelings and their reasons for coming back. But your feelings, your healing, and your peace of mind matter just as much. The time apart may have helped you grow, become stronger, and learn what you truly need in a relationship. Allowing someone back into your life should never mean ignoring those lessons. Watching a person's actions carefully is not about being cold or unforgiving. It is about protecting your heart and making wise decisions. A man who genuinely respects you will understand that trust must be rebuilt slowly. He will accept that his past choices created distance and that only consistent effort can repair what was broken. In the end, when a man comes back after months of no contact, his return can mean many different things. Sometimes he realizes your true value, sometimes life humbles him, and sometimes time helps him grow emotionally. Other times, loneliness simply reminds him of the comfort and emotional safety he once had with you. But no matter what the reason is, the most important thing is not why he returned, it is who he is when he comes back. Words, apologies, and promises may sound convincing, but real change is always proven through actions. A man who truly understands your worth will show it through respect, consistency, and genuine effort over time. So instead of rushing to reopen the door, take your time, observe his behavior, and protect your peace. Because your heart deserves someone who does not just return when life becomes difficult, but someone who chooses to stay, value you, and grow with you every single day.